What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of our yet unnamed weekly news show. I think we're currently calling it the Weekly Wrap-Up. I said we were going to choose the name based on what you guys said in the comments below, but that video hasn't been up for a whole week yet, so I want to give everyone an opportunity to actually put in their suggestions and see who uploads which comments to see what you guys like. So, working title, Weekly Wrap-Up, we'll see. I think one of the more popular suggestions was Booze, News, and Views, or just Booze and News. So, those are good. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for a good title for the show, let me know in the comments below. If you don't know, my name is Khasino, and I'm joined by the one and only Dutchrudder. I think I gestured the wrong way, sorry. The one and only Dutchrudder.
Hi, guys.
Sorry, I've been drinking. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the most recent happenings through this past week of Marvel Strike Force. We're going to talk about any new character releases, anything exciting, bugs, screw-ups, and everything in between. Just kind of give our take on it. We've both been playing the game for a very long time. Are you a global launch player?
I started about a month after launch. I was just a little bit after, so my PID's in the 7.8 million range.
All right, so we've both been playing for roughly 3 years.
3 years.
So
A long 3 years.
we have a good concept for the evolution of Marvel Strike Force. So.
In the spirit of my current Texas weather predicament, and I guess Texas has actually frozen over, I decided to pull this bottle out of my freezer, which is the Johnny White Walker Scotch.
Oh.
And it's great because it's been in my freezer for like a year now, and I just kind of forgot about it until today, and it just kind of clicked, and I was like, that's perfect because I don't have water, so I don't have ice, and since we don't have water, we're not washing cups, so I'm using these little throwaway plastic cups from my kid's birthday party from last year because that's all I got, just to kind of make it as easy as possible. But that's my predicament. You know, we made it through the storm, and things seem to be going back to normal tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be back.
I'm happy to hear that.
Back in the swing of things.
How does that taste, by the way? I'm huge into Game of Thrones, and I remember seeing like, I want to get White Walker booze.
It's only a $25 bottle, so it's very economical. It's I think 47-ish%, and it's just very standard run-of-the-mill Scotch. There's not a whole lot of character to it. It's not bad. It's very like you could mix it with stuff if you need like a Scotch mixer or something, or maybe like a whiskey sour. It would just fit right in there, but it's nothing like I would go out of my way for. But the bottle is really cool, and actually says winter is coming on the side when it's frozen, which is kind of cool. So it's just a novelty. Cool. It's a novelty, and for $25 being a Game of Thrones,
it tried to warn you.
Yeah, but I got it, so it's in my collection, so it's my thing. I'll keep it.
Well, cheers. I got some stuff that I actually drink regularly this time around. So I like Long Island iced teas. I actually was trying to find a Texas tea, but I didn't have time and I didn't find a place that had it. But so I haven't had this brand before, but it's by The Club. But yeah, it's a Long Island iced tea can, so I'll let you guys know how that is. And then I'm always good to have some Angry Orchard because apple juice is yummy, and apparently this stuff gets you drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, ciders can be pretty interesting. They can get very boozy sometimes, depending on who's making them.
Or which mobile game is giving you a reason to drink.
Yeah, exactly. So this week, our first topic is the Mercenary Double Drop event, which is just simply 2x shards on a few Merc characters. I know for me, Taskmaster was the one that I was eyeing. Did any of the other ones help you out this week, Khasino?
No, so there are no mercenary characters that I still need shards for, but yeah, Taskmaster, I started farming the heck out of Taskmaster as soon as he became farmable. Right now, I'm mainly, like, I think the only characters on campaign nodes that I need right now are Yellow Jacket and Stature. So not a lot of double drops are going to help me, but yeah, for like general players, Taskmaster is just absolutely awesome. I think he's still a god tier solo character, especially for the skill nodes. I know not too many alliances are doing the Doom Raid right now, but in Doom Raid, you have an entire section of raid nodes that can only use skill characters. And Taskmaster is amazing for the Doom Raid for the skill section. He's amazing for RTA. The stronger your Taskmaster, the better your mercenaries will be on war defense, and they're an amazing war defense team. So yeah, Taskmaster is definitely the standout gem there. But really, the best advice is just like if one or two of those characters are a star below the rest, and it will get you to a new tier of Payday, then yeah, you should, at least on the double drop day, go after those characters. That'll bump it up so that you can get the extra tier of Payday, because the first time completion gold is super nice.
Yeah, definitely. That is a very important event.
All right, so the next thing we have to talk about is the Black Bolt event, which is returning Monday, February 22nd. So, how are you doing on Black Bolt? Do you still need him?
No, I've got him at 7 stars, but I will say that he was one of the characters I bought up to 7 red stars in this game. I've only done that twice so far, and I think he's absolutely worth it. I think he's still worth it. So anybody who doesn't have him should be working on him, because he is excellent in many, many game modes.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, that's exactly true of me as well. He's one of only 2 characters that I paid for with promotion credits to upgrade. I took him to 7 red stars, so I have a fully maxed out gear tier 15, all the T4s, striker level 5 ISO. I have the Mac Daddy Black Bolt, and no regrets on that. I mean, he is the epitome of a stat stick. He is all damage and health, and he's just an insanely tanky blaster. And yeah, the amount of damage that he puts out is incredible, except taking him into DD4 where it's less impressive.
Yeah, you need more control than damage, but still, he can take a few beatings.
Yeah, he takes it well, and he hits pretty hard. So yeah, no regrets. And if you have a big enough Black Bolt, even with like a medium-sized yo-yo, you can get a lot done in the Ultimus raid. So.
Yeah, that was primarily my reason for upgrading him when I did, was, U7, this was a while ago, was still kind of relatively new. People were still having, like, some trouble getting 100% at the time, and it really helped my raid team, go the next level with, like, Maw and Thanos next to him, and then a couple other, big hitters, and it works really well as a team, especially if you're still, like, building towards a lot of different other teams to, complete either U7 5 or even parts of U7 if you're on like 1 or 2 or 3 difficulty. Very, very helpful character all around.
Yep, I have to agree. And then this is definitely niche use, but he's also incredibly useful for DD2 speedrun.
Oh yeah. I use him in DD1 speedruns as well. A lot of fun there. I love watching him just ult and blast away the whole wave, and then if you got Thanos next to him in the corner, he just gets like,
you can just do it again.
Yeah, the next wave, first turn.
Yep.
Super fun. I do love using him for that. I'll probably get back into that once I get some G15s after DD4, and he's definitely going to be on my list.
Yep, he was the first one I did after my first run.
Ah, nice. Alright, next thing this week is the Payday event, which just hit this Friday, which is actual payday for a lot of people, so that's pretty cool. It's very nice if you got the tier 7 unlocked, and just click it 3 times and you get, what, 2.6 million gold or whatever. It's
2.4, yeah.
Sorry, 2.4 million gold, and yeah, just right in your pocket. You can't really be upset about that. It is one of the best sources of income every month, and will definitely help with those milestone events.
Yep, it's our Scopely government rations. But
yep.
No, I made that joke on stream too today when I clicked it, which is like, yay, the Payday event is here. Claim, claim, claim. All right, that was a super fun event.
That's how I feel about all these now. I don't know. I kind of wish they would do something a little more creative with these and like mash them together and make us like give us the 3 reward credit things, but let us choose like which one to choose from. And
yeah,
that would be kind of neat, because depending on like what you're working on, it would allow a little bit more agency over how you kind of work towards things. Like for me right now, I would have to take a hard look at those SBCs for DD4 and all the orange gear, and that would be kind of neat. It's like, well, yeah, you can do the math and figure out which one's better if it stacks up, but that would be kind of cool if they did something like that.
It's funny you say that, because like this gold, don't get me wrong, like I'm always happy to get a bunch of gold, but I'm having incredible difficulty spending my gold because I have no training modules. So and that's like stopping up everything, because like I need to power up characters, but I can't give them levels, and if I can't give them levels, like I have plenty of orange gear now from DD4, although what's weird is I'm swimming in like tier 15 minis right now, which is something that only people who've completed DD4 will ever be able to say. But I don't have, I have like less than 100 of the isomers, less than 100 of the molecules, less than 100 of the spliced X genes.
The genes,
so
yeah.
First, I can't give any of my characters the levels because even though I have plenty of gold, I don't have the training modules. If I like spend some cores on training modules stuff, I can't give them the gear because even though I have the rare pieces, I don't have the common pieces. So I'm just all jammed up being able to upgrade characters right now. So I got this gold and I'm like, awesome, gold. It'll make a great decorative piece for where I'm at right now.
Yeah, you can't turn gold into training modules, unfortunately.
No.
There's just no way to do that. And, training modules are just, it's either from campaign nodes or orb drops of some sort, either the actual module nodes, or I know a lot of people that spend their arena credits just on those Kingpin orbs because they have a really good drop rate on those gold tier 4 training modules, and those are worth a decent amount when it comes to upgrades. But you need a lot of them for those level 75 to 80 upgrades.
You need 220 to go from 75 to 80.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to the point where I need to know that number yet. Well, fortunately for me at least. But yeah, I know a lot of people in the community in that crunch right now.
Yep, and I do want to clarify. I'm aware of how this sounds when I'm saying it out loud. All the people listening are like, "Oh, boo-hoo! You finished DD4 and you can't take a bunch of people to gear tier 15. Oh, we're all weeping for you." No, I get it. I get it. I'm a filthy whale. This is first whale problems. I get it. So yeah, just putting out there where I'm at, which is that the gold, especially for me, is bittersweet. But I imagine that most people are in a position where the gold is a tremendous help to them. And then I did hear a rumor. I don't know how true this is, but I did hear a rumor that training modules will be going to the raid store. So if that happens, I will have plenty of raid credits to spend on some training modules, and then that should loosen up that crunch for everybody.
That's a good tip because I spend all of my raid credits on orange gear in the raid store right now. Whenever it just pops, I'm not refreshing the store, but as I get raid income from the raids and the season rewards, that's where it's going for the most part. And if I did need training modules, it'd be good to know to save those up so you can turn those raid credits into training modules instead of SBCs and other orange catalysts.
So next up, we got to talk about the Blitz recap from the past week. So the first Bishop Blitz ended. So I do want to hear how you did on that. And then there was a War Machine Blitz. So let me know if you cared about that. And then we have Iceman's second Blitz going on now. So I guess we'll go in order. How'd you do in the first Bishop Blitz?
Yeah, I've been hitting 1% on every new character Blitz since they introduced Blitz Sim. So, the convenience of Blitz Sim, if you have high TCP and organized Blitz teams, which I know you're sure to win, Blitz infographic is one of those things that was probably one of the first infographics I ever saw playing this game, and it made me think, oh yeah, I should organize these things a little better. And it truly is, like, now a sim. Like, if you don't have your stuff in order, you're missing out on points every rotation. And when you do 30 plus rotations in 3 days, it's every 100,000 you miss. I mean, that stacks up. So I've actually taken time to go and redo my blitz orders and my blitz teams just specifically to make sure that when I'm hitting next and finding the right matchups and stuff, it's as fast as possible, efficient, but it also makes me not hate doing it, right? So as long as you get all that in order and you got good TCP, you should be able to hit at least the 1 or 2% range here, just by being fairly active. And so yeah, I was able to get the 1% on that, but it does require a little bit of awareness to make sure you keep hitting those rotations every 2 hours or so, or I do about 2 hours and 15 minutes just so I don't accidentally waste some blitz charges here and there.
Yep, and the easiest way to do that, little pro tip, just set an alarm, just a 2-hour timer, and yeah, as soon as you finish a rotation, just start it again and you'll be ready to go 2 hours from then. And also for all the people listening to this who are like, oh, if you're a high TCP player, well, that's great for you guys, but what about me? For what it's worth, anytime I have the opportunity to give any feedback on Blitz to the devs, I'm pretty much always advising them. You need to make multiple blitzes or break it up by shards, but like you can't have people that have been playing the game for 3 months competing with me and Dutch. It's not going to work. They have no hope. They just cannot win. It has nothing to do with how much they want to play or even how much they want to spend. They're just screwed, plain and simple. And that's not fair. That's not fun. So yeah, I'm always advocating for them breaking up Blitz into multiple blitzes, multiple shards, in a way. I really like the way they handle Arena and Marvel Contest of Champions. If anyone is listening who's played that game, where they run blitzes simultaneously, their version of Blitzes. They call it Arena. And so what they always do is they have like 4 going at any given time. There's like a lower star version of the new character and a lower star version of an old character. And there's a higher star version of the new character and a higher star version of an old character. And people kind of choose which bracket they want to go in, because like if you know that you can put up a good amount of points, you won't rank high enough for the new character, but you can get really good rewards on the old character. You can choose, like, I'm going to go ham on the high star version of the old character because I can score really high on that. And all the people that would crush my score are busy duking it out for the brand new character. So giving people the agency to choose. And then sometimes, you know, people who are like, well, I'm going to be on vacation, so I can't put up the amount of points I would normally be able to put up. So what I'll do is I'm going to go for the lower star version of the new character. That way I at least still get them for synergy purposes or whatever. And I can only do about half as much as I normally would, and I'll still score well there. So yeah, it just naturally helps to segregate the players into the groups they want to do. So I've always thought if they had, like, you know, they could put, like, they've been doing like the 4 red star prize on the top blitz, but they could do like a second blitz that gave just, you know, 20% fewer shards and one less red star. Not as many people would play that one, but the people that did play that one would be able to score much higher and do better than they normally would have anyway, because they wouldn't have as much competition. So there's a lot of ways they could do it, but yeah, for what it's worth, although me and Dutch are in a great spot with the current blitz system where we just put in minimal effort and reap amazing rewards, I don't think that that's how that should work personally. So yeah, I'm always advocating for just being better to the newer and more free-to-play players.
It does feel a little cheap, honestly, but at the same time, the jump from the 2% to 1% is 45 shards, and I think that needs to be smoothed out a little bit more and create more tiers, because it would really remove some of the sting of being like, I got ranked 3600 and I got 2%, and you're like 200 ranks off, and it's like maybe a couple 100,000 points. I think that would really help too. As well as having blitz selection would be awesome, because I mean there are a lot of people that are getting burned out at times and they just want to, you know, hang back, be casual, but still unlock people because they want to play with those characters, and that would be great too. Because with these 100 shard unlocks, some of these, you know, it'll take them 2 blitzes to unlock, and if that, and if they don't, then who knows when they'll unlock that character. So that would be a really nice thing to do for the community. Kind of create those different tiers that people can just kind of pick and choose which one they want to be in at that moment, instead of just constantly being stuck there.
Absolutely. I think it sends the wrong message to a new player too, right?
Yeah.
Their first, I forget if it's because it got changed. It used to be 30 days. Now it's either 45 or 60 days. I forget what it got changed to. But you're on the beginner blitz yard for either your first 45 or 60 days, whichever it is. And like I saw someone post in the Facebook group literally yesterday, like, hey, I got top 1% in blitz and I haven't been playing very long. Is this really good? What's going on? Am I just awesome? And you know, a bunch of people in the comments are actually, surprisingly, most people in the comments had no idea what was going on. By the way, it was top 1 to 5%, which is like your first clue that it's a different shard. Yep. But most people in the comments were like, oh, okay, yeah, you expect us to believe you've only been playing for a couple months, which those people are being dense, I guess. But a few people, myself included, were like, you're on the beginner blitz shard, great work, enjoy this while it lasts. But they're going to go from that to like 1 week, they're just going to be in a different blitz where they can literally play every 2 hours, do their absolute best, and they are for sure getting the bottom payout bracket. They just get dumped into like, okay, now you have to wait many months for other people to quit the game for your TCP to rise up enough to break into a better reward bracket. That's horrible.
And even before Sim, though, it wasn't that bad, because a lot of bigger accounts would be a lot more lazy about it because it was so much time and effort, right? So a lower account that was like, say, like 7-8 million could score where an 11 million would normally score, because they could put in the extra time and effort. But that's not really an option anymore, because it's so easy just to hit auto 25 times or 30 times or whatever, you know, every rotation, or not even every rotation. Even if you're just doing like 5 or 6, you're still going to score really well if you have a high base power, and it's really hard to overcome that. So yeah, there really isn't a catch-up method for any of that right now in the game. That is something that should be addressed. Blitz
is now just the rich get richer.
Like, it does feel that way. Yeah. So War Machine Blitz, I just used it for Blitz credits myself, just simming for wins basically. You know, drop down with my junk teams and I just not even look at it and just hit auto, and you know it gets you a couple hundred Blitz credits here and there for very little effort. So that's what I do with these off blitzes now. So I'll only do like maybe 4 rotations in a day at most, but it's
more than I do.
Yeah, it's nice like just to have. Unless like sometimes I'll take a new team, like I've got my Iceman up to like tier 9 now or so. So I was screwing around with them at Blitz, and that's a nice venue to try out new things just for fun, just to see how they work. So that's what else I do with it.
Yeah, I like Blitz. Blitz is still my favorite game mode for if I need to test something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just go right into 8-3 and put them to the test.
Yeah.
And then for Iceman 2, I guess you're shooting for top 1%. What is that going to put your Iceman at?
Yeah, so he's definitely going to be about 5 stars, 5 gold, right? So that was the last Blitz, and then I guess they accidentally launched his Blitz on the wrong day, but I did not take advantage of that because I wasn't aware of it, and they sent out the compensation for the shards. So that was nice. That actually got me to 5 stars with him, so that was pretty cool. I mean, Axemen is definitely going to be a meta going forward. Where they end up kind of as far as each mode goes is kind of a little bit to be determined as far as war is concerned right now, but yeah, I'm interested to see where they end up. I'm still working on that team very slowly, so I don't have a lot of experience with them.
The thing is, they don't have like war offense or war defense perks, so they're fine on either spot in war. So they do counter some good teams. Like they can punch across on mercs, and I mean they can punch across on marauders. I don't know exactly how reliable it is at this stage, but I know that they can. I've seen them do it. They're just a top 5 team, is my guess. In fact, I believe we did like a rough. We haven't done the full testing for this patch yet, but when we did like the quick numbers plugged in, they were the number 3 team in the game. Oh. So they're way up there. Yeah, they don't mess around. And
raw stats.
Right. Well, that, and I mean their utility is still just really good. They still have lots of blinds and stuns and flows and disrupts and speed bar on kill, and Bishop still just doesn't take a lot of damage. They just got a lot of useful stuff.
All right, and this week, Khasino finished his second run of Dark Dimension 4, unlocking the 4 Red Star Dr. Doom, getting all those juicy orange gear rewards to upgrade all those characters to G15 and become a dominant force in all the game modes, especially War. I've run into a lot of G15 stuff, and man, it makes a big difference. So I'm sure you're happy about that. How are you feeling about this? Never having to touch DD4 again if you don't want to.
They just absolutely fleeced the whales on DD4. Like I don't know the exact number, but I probably spent like $5 to $6 grand just on DD4 to rush to the finish. And this is definitely a thing where like if I just waited 6 months or a year, I could have finished for free. So it's definitely paying for that whale privilege. I will say the one place where it's definitely paying dividends is Arena. I took rank 1 in Arena today at like 2 in the afternoon, and my payout is 9 p.m. and I got paid out at rank 1 somehow.
Nice.
They had all that time, and they like my defense hasn't changed from yesterday where people were able to beat it. I don't know why they left it today. They can definitely beat it, but I don't know. They didn't today. Maybe they tried a couple times and failed and said, screw it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely not an unbeatable defense. My shard is a bunch of like 775k Black Order teams, so there is no unbeatable defense on that shard. But yeah, it's definitely Arena is like not having to worry as much about dropping ranks in Arena so far is my favorite perk. But yeah Doom is definitely an OP character. Yeah,
the power core is kind of like, you spent a lot to get through DD4. I don't know if I can say this about you, but for a lot of people, once they get through DD4, the power cores you get out of Arena kind of pay back a little bit for all the investment that you made to get done early, right? But yeah,
it's a nice little payback, but nowhere near on the scale of what I put in. I mean, just those Gear Tier 15 mini offers, dropping $100 every time those came around.
Yeah,
I'm very thankful. If you're listening to this and you're part of the Khasino family, or you've been part of the streams, you helped crowdfund this. Everything I do on my account is purely crowdfunded, so my account is like one big social experiment for the whole community to just like pay in and see what happens when we make an account this big and do stuff with it. But yeah, this was an experience. I feel terrible that much money went into this to get us here, but we get to show some cool Doctor Doom gameplay. So
yeah, definitely. I can't wait to play with him, but I am taking my time, and I have not bought any G15s for dollars. So I'm just starting. I'm into Cosmic this week. Right now, I just did Node 7 last night, actually, and we'll be continuing on through 8 and 9. And then I'm actually very close to being done with my city team, too, so I'm hoping it won't be too much of a gap between the finishing of Cosmic and going into city. So, pretty close.
So how far are you in Cosmic?
So I finished Node 7 yesterday, and I'm on to Node 8. So I've still got a little ways to go. I know 9 is a pain.
9 is very much the pain. Are you running Hela Minerva?
Yep, Hela, Minerva, Thanos, and Proxima, and and so I've got a pretty good team.
That's as good as you can ask for.
Right, and I did those videos and reviewing other people's progression and how many attacks they did, and that really kind of made me look at it and be like, yeah, I could skate by with a Thor or somebody cheaper, but man, I don't want to do 20 plus attacks on this 8 or 9 nodes, and I just I just wanted to take it slow, take it easy, methodical, and just kind of blaze through it in a average time, not anything crazy.
So obviously we got to talk about Red Guardian being added to the Elite store. So are you excited? Have you been going after Red Guardian? Because I'll talk about my experience with him after.
Well, I have 5 reds on him, and I feel like that's a good number. I'm usually very satisfied with characters that 5 reds. However, I think he is one of those characters that could benefit from more. But man, I'm not in a position to spend gold credits on him at this point. If I had a specific purpose for him, I might. But he doesn't really hit that threshold for me. I think 5 red is really good on him. 4 to 5, I think it's kind of minimum where he needs to be viable. But gold, I can't spend 100 gold credits taking him to 6. I don't know. How about you? What do you have on him?
So I first off, let me say I agree with you. 5 red is definitely, he's good at 5 red. He doesn't need more, because at the end of the day, his job is to just be a wall and kind of stand in the way and be a major inconvenience. And so at 5 red, he's going to be able to absorb shots and resist enough stuff to do that effectively against any star and red star characters. I only am at 4 red, which is not too terrible, but I have a short list of characters that I actually would promote from 4 to 5. And I've actually got a decent buildup of silver promo credits at this point. And there's an arena defense that I really, really, really want to test that involves him. Now that I have Doom, the main way to stop Doom is to go right after him and shut him down immediately. And as soon as you have a decent Red Guardian, you can't go after him right away. So yeah, I have been doing the 50 core refreshes on the Elite store, which I normally don't do, but with the core spending event going on, and the fact that the sooner I get this, the sooner I can bolster my arena defense even more, I have been pursuing him, and I've struck out for the last 3 days doing the 50 core refreshes on the Elite store.
Wow. Yeah,
not having any luck. But
yeah, that's one of those stores where I wish they would add a couple more rows just to make it a little less random. Because, that's just so sad. You just sit there and you're just man, I really want to upgrade this character, but I can't find him. They're just never showing up.
Few things are less satisfying than spending 50 cores on nothing.
Yeah, that is... Yeah, even when I'm just fishing for G15 minis, it's there's nothing here I want to buy. It's just ugh. But yeah, with the Red Star store, it's just even less appealing, just because you're only hunting for that one character out of 150 or so that can show up.
Right. No, that's exactly the odds are terrible, and but for what it's worth, Red Guardian is an awesome solo character, and I think he's one of those characters Drax was already every once in a while a situation would come up where he'd be it'd be great for this Drax. Yep. And so that's just been replaced by Red Guardian, and Red Guardian's just, he's up to speed. In the current meta, he can hang. His ultimate ability does decent damage and has an ability block, and his special is still defense up to everyone. He's perfectly functional, and he comes with that perk of being the taunt on spawn. So I really, really like Red Guardian. I think he has a lot of use cases. I've been using him, for example, on War Defense. I just put him in place of Sabretooth on my Marauders. And that makes it X-Force now has an immense amount of trouble getting to my Sinister or my Emma, because you have Strife taunting and you have Red Guardian taunting. And then, of course, Red Guardian will retaunt after enough time. So, and it's very hard to just focus him out as well. Yeah, I really like him. There's a lot of good use cases for him, and I'm trying to get at least one more Red Star on him so I can be in the 5 Red Star Red Guardian club with you.
Yeah, I do have 5 gold on him, so I could use some more gold stars on him. I would love to see that, but yeah, I've just been throwing him in my Doc Ock S6 defense in war along with Rhino.
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and then Rhino next to Ock, so that hopefully he gets sped up a little bit, and then that can create that 2 taunt like back and forth a little bit to hopefully prevent X-Force from being able to get to Ock and actually murder him. That's kind of the big thing with him is just on war defense. He's a much improved Drax 2.0 for sure. Okay, so another thing that's come up this week is the Blitz community poll asking us, who would we like to have a Blitz for? Would you like to have Wasp or Stature? I'm leaning one way a little bit harder than the other on this, but I'd like to get your thoughts on it and see if you have any preference.
I am just so torn. I mean, on the one hand, we've got a character that's borderline irrelevant and has been out since like something like 2 months after the game launched. And on the other hand, we have a character that is at least part of the core trio of that team and is new and has been tricky to farm and only just recently went to a campaign node. I mean, it's not even a choice. It's like, I'm kind of insulted.
Yeah.
Right? Just be like, we're doing a Stature Blitz. Don't pretend to give us the choice. Like, they probably would have honored it if the community went Wasp, but that was never, ever going to happen.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe they live in some fantasy world where they're like, well, we're going to run one of those. Let's see what people pick. I don't know.
What would have been interesting is you put Stature and Yellow Jacket together. Now that's a fight, right? Like that would be interesting. Right. They're both farmable characters in nodes, so it's really going to come down to like where community people fall as to which one they need more or prefer. And I'd still go Stature out of the two because I have less shards on her than Yellow Jacket, but it's only by a little.
I'd go Yellow Jacket. I go Yellow Jacket because I think he's better.
Okay.
And
the other thing,
farther in. He's in Doom campaign. He's farther in.
But the thing is, the gear that drops with his node is actually more useful than what you get with the Stature farm. So if you're going to be farming them for another 500 shards or whatever to finish them off, you'll get more mileage out of the Yellow Jacket node because he gets a little bit of orange gear there instead of being in that.
That's true, but I'd rather just have the stronger Yellow Jacket sooner.
Yeah, I think
I use him a lot more in my Kree Pim lane in Gamma.
Oh, do you? Okay, I haven't switched over to Pim Tech yet. I'm still running a hybrid of Wakanda with Ghost, and I think I throw in Minerva or something.
You're in the Wakanda Kree lane.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, like lane 2. Yeah.
Yeah, they meet up at the same mini boss, but the other side of that lane is the Kree Pim Tech.
Okay. Yeah, I still think
for that you pretty much have to use some Pim.
Yeah. You can't use Kree at all. Have you tried like?
Oh no! I run a hybrid. I absolutely run Minerva, and then I love Ultimus. Ultimus is amazing.
He is very good.
Because if you make him a striker, every ability on a vulnerable target has a chance to call for mind control. And mind control in Gamma is a death sentence.
Yep.
And you can defense down, ability block. Yeah, Ultimus is great. So I actually like the 2 members I never swap out are Minerva and Ultimus, and then sometimes I run Captain Marvel, but it's mainly and then obviously I run Ghost. It's usually Ghost, Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket, and then
really Ant-Man. But you have the 7 red Ant-Man, right?
Well, I do, but that's new, and I've been running him anyway. It has nothing to do with his stars because I don't have him geared up. It's for a couple reasons. One, the AOE slow is like especially useful in raid, but more importantly, the passive for the assists. When you have him as a skirmisher, and you can have him assisting Ghost, and he will create vulnerables for Ghost to double tap anyone she attacks. So Ghost is just always rewinding 25% on any ability and rewinding 50% on basics, because Ant-Man is always jumping in as a skirmisher to help her get that extra attack. So it's so much more speed bar rewind having Ant-Man that even if I had a weak Ant-Man, back when I had a weaker Ant-Man, I was still running him just because it allowed Ghost to keep rewinding people more.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I haven't had to do that lane yet. I've been on the inside lane there at the Wakanda option, so yeah, I do a mishmash of characters there as well. But it's honestly, it's not too difficult. It's really just the boss node that you have to be
mini
aware
boss,
of.
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. I always hit it with Captain Marvel to start, just so I can delete that Doctor Strange right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then whether or not I make it through the rest of it in one shot is kind of iffy. But for the most part, I can do some damage and at least get to like the second, third wave, and then it's easy to clean up.
All right, so we got to talk about Iceman returning to Red Stars. I forget exactly what caused his initial run to be shorter than normal, but people had complained that he wasn't in Red Stars for very long, and so they agreed to bring him back. So was this exciting to you? Were you like glad that there was another opportunity to go after Iceman in the Red Star Orbs?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and it's like, man, I think I had 3 reds on him, and I was just like, I got some Red Stars, and I was like, I don't care too much about White Tiger. Like, I'll skimp on the Red Stars a little bit for her and try to push more into Iceman, and I ended up pulling a 6 red on him, so I was pretty happy about that.
Ooh.
He's just one of those characters like, I'd like him to have more if I can. I think he'll make that team, or he'll help bolster that team quite a bit just by having more damage, more health, more focus, everything. It's gonna help. It's gonna pay dividends down the road, more so for me than say spending those elite 4s on White Tiger. So that's the trade-off, right? Because that's the next new character that's going to be featured. So I went ahead and I pulled some, and maybe it wasn't the best idea, but I did. So I got 6 red. I can't complain about that. So I'm pretty happy. How about you? Did you pull any extras for him?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll. I mentioned earlier in the show. I don't know if it'll get cut or what, but I did. It's funny actually because I had a viewer of mine who basically was like, I will donate $50 if you hoard all of your elite orbs until White Tiger gets here. And because I was getting a bunch from DD4, and I was like, I will do that for the $50. But just so you know, like, I don't want, like, that wouldn't be my choice. I'll do it because the financial incentive is there, but I was like, I care a lot more about the Astonishing X-Men. Like, the Astonishing X-Men are like a top 3 team. Whereas Shadowlands look like they're going to be an awesome war team, but they're just a war team.
Yeah.
So any team that you get 3 battles per week out of, it's not as important. Whereas Astonishing X-Men are doing great in Mutant in Doom Raid. They're doing amazing for the X-Men section in Gamma. They're great in War. Like they're just a phenomenal team. And so I was like, if it were up to me, I'd open them. And we went back and forth on it for a while. And it was like, all right, you know what? Fine. If you want to open it. But I think you're making a big mistake. And I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll find out. And then I opened an Elite 5 that I got from DD4, and I pulled a 7 Red Star Iceman.
Nice.
So I'm pretty happy that he came back around.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the question is, would you rather have that 7 red on White Tiger if you had the choice?
So interestingly, I actually would. Like I'm not mad because I'd rather have high Red Stars on the Astonishing X-Men team. But White Tiger, specifically, White Tiger is all damage and like capitalizes on resets and piercing. So there are few characters that realize their full potential with high Red Stars. Like we talked about this earlier, but like Iceman, whether he's 5 Red Star, 6 Red Star, 7 Red Star, not going to be a huge difference. Once his focus is up enough to land his stuff, he's good. I'm not worried about him dying. So if I had the option to just get, I only had a 4 Red Star Iceman at the time. I was opening the Elite 5s, like, if I could just get him up to 5, he'll be definitely set. I didn't need him to be 7. So I actually would have preferred the 7 on White Tiger, but that's strictly a solo character to solo character basis. Yeah. But I'm not mad that I added a 7 Red Star to my Astonishing X-Men. So I'm hardly sitting here kicking myself for having opened it. But it was just funny that after all the insistence that I not open for Iceman, and I just pulled a 7. I mean, the game clearly thinks I should have.
Any 7 red you could pull is always a victory, I'd say. Like, it's just, I mean, it's gonna pay dividends down the road. But that is interesting that it could have been a White Tiger potentially. I don't know. It's kind of like Schrodinger's Red Stars, right? Like, if you had or had not pulled the Red Star, it's like, does it really matter? Would have been the character that's featured or not? Yeah, you just pulled it down, so that's what you got. And it's like, if you had waited, it would have been that. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say.
No, if I'd opened it during White Tiger, it would have been a 5 Red Star dupe of Kree Noble, of course.
Probably, yeah. All right, another item in our news this week is that the Shadowlands team, the new one with White Tiger and Moon Knight, is getting a huge stat increase to the existing members, Elektra, Daredevil, and Night Nurse. Two of them are getting a 38% health increase, and Night Nurse is getting 41% to their base health, which is pretty huge. That's going to make them a little bit harder to kill, but it should bring them more in alignment with the new characters as they're released with their health pools. So this is kind of updating and modernizing them with the rest of the characters that are in the game right now. So how do you feel about this one?
First off, let me say, they badly needed this, so this is a really, really good improvement to the team. But this is kind of one of those things where, well after they announced what the team was going to look like, they added something in last minute that makes a really big difference. Because they did this with Astonishing too. At the last minute, they're like, oh, by the way, we're adding a cleanse to the Beast special. You know that ability you'll be able to spam constantly? And that team badly needed a cleanse. So it was like, this is, you made it as just part of this little announcement that kind of went under the radar, and it makes a really big difference. That's how I feel about this too, which is those three characters all suffered from basically dying to a stiff breeze at any given time. And so it's great news that they're all getting considerably more health. And all three of those characters are day one launch, actually soft launch characters. They're all really, really old. I could have told you that they needed this immediately. So I am really glad that they're getting it. But I'm kind of mystified that they realized this so late into the process. They were playing matchups with these characters against Marauders and Black Quarter. They say they test stuff. So the good news is I'm glad they caught it, because there are characters on the Skilletary team that still didn't get the love that they need as far as their survivability. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that they're on the right page now. I don't know how it took them this long to realize that these characters with no health needed health.
I feel like the Skilletary comparison is really good, because I think there are a lot of criticisms about how that team kind of played out in the game and their usefulness. And this feels to me like a bit of an overreaction, right, to that, where they didn't really buff those original characters as much as they probably should have to bring them in alignment with the new characters and their base stats. Because this is part of the game that we don't really talk about very much, is stat creep, right? As new characters come out, the base stats get a little bit higher over time, right? And then that multiplies as you add all these other factors like Stark Tech and Red Stars and Gold Stars and all this stuff on top of it. And so, while it may just seem like a couple here and there as far as the stat points go when they're level 1 and you just unlock them, the amount that it multiplies over time as the character grows is just dramatic. And so, if you add 10% base health to them now, it's well, that's a nice little boost, and that's going to pay off down the road. But a 38% is, multiplied by a factor of 25% by Stark Tech, and then also, up to 75% by Red Stars. And it just, I mean, these are characters that I've always targeted, Elektra and Night Nurse, in Blitz, right, for simming and stuff, because they're terrible, right? And now I'm kind of with this much more health on them, that might actually be a concern, but I don't know yet. I'll have to test it.
It's not really, they're definitely better, but no, they're still not really a concern, because, here's what's interesting, to kind of piggyback on your point, they've been releasing new characters, and the new characters have not only had better kits, but they've had vastly better stats. And we're seeing weird things where there are some new characters where the new character's kit is just not great. This character was just a great example is Karnak. And I don't think Karnak has a terrible kit by any means. But Karnak's kit doesn't wow you and knock your socks off.
Yeah.
But when Karnak came out, we have to do the solo character rankings, and Karnak, despite having a kit that's terribly impressive, not really great for any one function in particular, except for dispelling a couple tanks specifically that he had to be able to land a disrupt on. But aside from that, Karnak didn't really do anything notable. But just based on the fact that he had so much more health and so much more damage, he was instantly in the top third of characters just by existing. And so having this disparity, certain characters should have crazier stats than others for sure. Black Bolt is the kind of character who's made to have a high damage stat. I wouldn't want him having the same damage stat as Elektra per se.
Yeah, but absolutely.
When it compounded how bad some of the older characters are, when it's we're not making major updates to their kit. So like Elektra's kit, even with their modifications, Elektra's kit is not incredible by any stretch. It's a little bit better, but
it does a little more damage.
Still not great. At least have the decency to give her some health and damage. It always bugged me when, there would be characters who's like, they already didn't have competitive kits. Don't also just completely hamstring their stats, and don't make other characters pull ahead of them with like equally terrible kits, but just ridiculous stats. So,
yeah. And
you said it's a bit of an overreaction, but like seeing this, like tankier Elektra is not like I'm still not afraid of Elektra.
It helps them stay alive and more in alignment with the characters they're adding, though, right? And with Skeletal, there's some clear ones that don't match Red Guardian and Galena for stats, and I think that's the drop off there is significant, right? And I feel like that way about Inhumans too, right? Because I have a 7 Red Star Quake, and she's still paper thin, right? She just dies very easily, and she has less health than some of the other characters like Crystal on that team, even though they're the same gear tier and stuff, and she has two more reds than her, right? It's just the stat base is so significantly different because of when they came out in the game, and that stat creep is hidden a bit, not that much. I mean, you can look it up, but it just to kind of look and compare. This is something I've always wanted to do, is just grab the entire database from MSF.gg and then sort them by release date and see how that trend line goes for all of the different stats. That would be a fun video to do sometime.
You're already doing kit creep. You don't need to do stat creep and kit creep, or you just end up like greatly exacerbating a problem of power creep. Like if you want to do kit creep, that's fine. It stands out on its own. And then there are certain characters that you can justify stat creep. Like no one had an issue with the Thing having crazy health, crazy damage, crazy armor. Like, that's him in a nutshell. That's great. That's fine. But like one of the ones that absolutely kills me, and this is going to be, I guess, an unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people like this character, including me. And I'm looking at Moon Knight. I like Moon Knight. He's cool. Moon Knight is clearly like a moderate to high damage dealer with good control effects. But for some reason, is like in the top 10 or 11 characters in the whole game for health. He just has this massive health bar. Yeah. And then they just threw in like, and 15% damage reduction. So despite having like zero reason to be in any kind of a defensive role, they just made him preposterously tanky. And then you read all his abilities and they're like, hurt people and cripple people with negative effects. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
He's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to him. He's got some things in his kit that I kind of wish Domino had, where it's just like these luck rolls as to like what drops on them and all that. And I wish they had done something like that for Domino. I really wish they would rework her kit to be a little bit more randomish and stuff like that. But for Moon Knight, I'm just excited because I really like his kit. So I'm interested to see how this team really comes together in the game when we put it into practice. But I do think that it's going to be heavily a hard carry by Moon Knight and White Tiger still. I think the stat boost to me, the health is just to keep them alive so that they can still support the other two that do all the work and all the heavy lifting. So
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly where that health boost came from. Is they're testing this team in war, and I'll tell you, they learned a very valuable lesson from Skeletal, which is if you design a team to win punch acrosses against the top teams in the game, people are not going to buy them and invest in them if that's all they get out of it. It's like, wait, you want me to take these guys to gear tier 14 so I can win 3 matches more every week that I already win with other teams? No. And with Astonishing X-Men, they've learned, once people are seeing that team can save you having to get like 200k on another team, then people want to invest because they like how much it can punch up, which is like, I've been saying this for 3 years. People want the new characters to be so powerful that they can accomplish the same things as other teams at a lower power. That's what makes them appealing, is less investment, more results. And you can do the same investment for over-the-top results. And I think they learned from Skeletal, which is like half the reason that you couldn't have Skeletal too much lower than your opponent is they'd just die like right away. So I think they realized like, we're trying to sell another war offense team. Let's make sure that even if they're punching up, they at least get to use like their first couple of turns worth of abilities, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we have to talk about White Tiger releasing. This actually happened today, and so I really like White Tiger, but this is going to be one of those things where this character is going to be largely overlooked by the player base, just because a lot of people won't have good stars and red stars on White Tiger for a while. Even though she's a character event campaign, like I think the closest comparison I can make is, you remember when Killmonger came out and no one really cared at the time, and then as people finally started getting like 7 gold star, 5, 6 red star Killmonger, people like, wait a sec, this guy's awesome. I think it's going to be the exact same thing with White Tiger. She is all stats and she's just a damage dealer. So if you have like a medium-sized White Tiger, which is, again, for the next like 6 months, almost every player except the top Krakens is going to have at best a medium-sized White Tiger, where she's going to be very forgettable. She'll be very squishy. Her damage will be okay, is like kind of good, and that'll be that. And no one's going to care about White Tiger until more and more people start getting giant White Tigers and going, wait a second, she's killing everybody. That's probably how it's going to go. But I'm excited for her. I'm not going to get her anywhere near big enough out the gate to be able to really show what she can do. So I hope people just take my word for it at this point, unless I get crazy lucky. But I like her kit, and yeah, she's an absolute savage. And she has one of the best ISO 8 like striker bonus attacks out there. It's really, really nasty.
Yeah, that is an underrated feature of her, but she is really, really good. I'm in the same boat where it's like I'm not going to get her big for a while, so it's hard to really care too much. But at the same time, I'm just at the point in this game where it's just like, well, any new character that comes out, I'm going to work hard to get them to at least 5 stars to make them useful, and then I can always adjust from there as to, whether I want to buy red stars on them later when they're added to the Elite store, or focus on a Blitz or whatever store they end up being farmable in down the road. I just kind of want to set myself up to where I can build that character in the future if I need to, and I'm trying not to skimp on it too much. So with that said, her being a campaign release means we need a lot of cores to keep up and be able to get those character orbs from her campaign event. So with the lunar event ending this week, it's kind of drained everybody's core reserve for the most part. I know I'm down a few thousand from where I normally am, and I got a week basically to build it back up. So I'm going to be very conservative with my cores. I'm only going to buy 1 energy refresh a day. I'm not going to buy any ISO refreshes, and I don't really plan on spending cores outside of stores to try to refresh to get those G15 minis here and there. But for the most part, I'm going to bring down my core spending quite a bit in hopes that spending them on White Tiger is going to get me at least a 5-star on her. But that, of course, is also RNG based, because those orbs, oh my god, those orbs are just so bad at the drop rates in the center column for the character that you want. And
you might get 24, you might get none.
Yeah, it's always such a crapshoot, right? It's total randomness. I've had some luck on certain character campaigns where I almost get them 6 stars or something crazy, and then the next one I get like barely 4 stars or something, and it's total, just luck of the draw. So I'm going to try to save up cores for this event specifically, but if you're watching now, you've got a week to prepare, basically 6 days until the campaign starts. So good luck with that. Make sure you be very conservative with your core spending, and prepare to spend 200 cores a day at least on her node refreshes, and then keep going from there if you got extras.
There are certain characters who at medium power are perfectly functional, and the difference between medium power and full power is almost irrelevant. And a great example of that is like Ebony Maw. If you have a medium power Ebony Maw, 6 gold, 4 red, he's fine. He's going to do his job perfect. He's going to be awesome. Anything extra on top of that is just icing, but it's not, he's good. He's going to do what he needs to do against pretty much anyone. White Tiger falls in the exact opposite boat, which is like, you have to have a giant White Tiger. And if a lot of people are going to ask me, as they do with every new character, like, hey, I have a medium-sized White Tiger. What should I do with her? And I'm going to have to answer every single one of those people like, nothing. Like, literally do nothing with her. Put her on the bench. She's not going to do anything for you, unfortunately, at medium power. one of those characters that only shines when she's just absolutely jacked. But she's going to be just oppressive if you have a giant white tiger. So good luck to people who get a massive white tiger. She'll destroy everyone and everything. But if you don't get a giant white tiger, then don't worry about white tiger that much.
Yeah. I can see that. I'm personally pulling more for Moon Knight of the Shadowlands team, but I could see you could go either way or both ways if you got the orbs for it. I just don't have the Red Star build up right now for White Tiger, so I'm a little tapped. So we'll see. I hope I pull a good one on her with some regular reds, but I don't know. I'm not gonna hold my breath for that anytime soon.
Right? Yeah. No. I don't blame you.
We'll see, but it should be an interesting character. What she kind of hits into the meta, especially for war. I'm interested to see what she can do, especially on defense with the Shadowlands team. But we're still
carve people like a pumpkin, man.
Yeah, but we'll see. You know, it's still several weeks out until we have not only her but also Moon Knight in order to finish the team, and so we probably got like till the end of March until we start seeing the full team. Alright, and of course this week would not be complete without some bugs, so of course we had the offer, the Lunar New Year credit offer up here on the screen, which is just an amazing offer. You get 1,700 Lunar New Year credits for $10, and you can buy this 3 times, which of course is not Lunar New Year credits. It's 1,700 of the credits you use to buy the Cull and Ghost shards for the DD4 completion calendar. And you could buy it 3 times for $30 and get 5,100 credits, which is basically 250 shards of either Cull or Ghost, or 25 of each in however way you want to put it together, which is just insane. And they would never, ever sell this on purpose. So this is obviously a huge mistake on their point by choosing the wrong currency to provide for this offer. But also it makes me wonder why on earth they would do 1,700 credits for the Lunar New Year thing when it's 1,200 per orb, 800 and 600. It just gives you leftovers, and that just annoys me because it's not perfectly accurate.
Wow. Right, but they do that on purpose because some people buy it because they're like, ooh, that'll give me just enough to use what I've already got.
Right.
Some people be like, oh, if I buy this twice, it'll give me just enough to use what I've already got. Or you might have people who just buy it the once and then realize, like, I didn't even realize I'm so close to one more. All right, let me go grab it one more time. Like, that's no accident.
It just annoys me, though. I mean, like, give me 2,400 credits so I can buy 2 orbs for sure, you know, or 3 or whatever.
Yeah, but that makes you less likely to buy another one.
I know. I just don't like uneven numbers. But in any case,
they're counting on that. They know.
Yeah, they're just trying to mess with people's OCD. But this is insane, giving away 250 Cull or Ghost shards for $30 essentially. The great thing is that they acknowledge this error. They are not pulling the shards or the credits from anybody's account. Instead, they are just going to offer this offer again. Later for people who did not buy it already, and they will be able to purchase it and then draw in Ghost or Cull shards however they feel. So you can split the difference however you like. If you only need 25 Cull shards, then just buy that and get the rest with Ghost, and that's probably one of the best offers you'll ever see in this game. 250 shards of a marquee character for $30 is never going to happen again as far as I'm concerned. So it's just, might as well jump on it if you're a spender at all.
When you say a marquee character, it's specifically these characters, like one in the War Store and one Premium Orb exclusive. Like, this is amazing for that. So they're definitely going to, like, these 2 characters, they're going to make a killing off. But they have been doing more. I think they just had, like, a $5 for, like, 180 Coulson or something like that. So they've been a bit more generous.
I think it's 15.
Right, 15.
And you got a Mega Orb with it. So, you know, you got a little RNG there, too. But, I mean, even still, that's...
So that's at least 230 for $15. So they're being more generous with the marquee, but what makes this one a big deal in particular is it's Ghost and Cull.
Yeah, these guys are, you know, if you need Cull shard, if you need 250 Cull shards still, just get them now. Just get them all now, because you're not going to get them very fast through Premium Orbs. Right,
and the fact that you can buy them, you know, in segments of $10 per 3 of those orbs is just amazing.
Yeah, so, we're never gonna see anything like this, though.
Yep, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, it's amazing as a player. I'm so excited. I can't wait for these offers to come up again, so I can. This will get my Cull 7-star, and then it'll get my Ghost. I think it might get my Ghost to 7-star also, and she's gear tier 15 from DD4. So like, this is gonna work out great. But I am a little bit perturbed that they screw up and do something they weren't supposed to, and their reward for that is like the entire player base getting so excited to buy one of their products. Like, oh, they messed up. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. As soon as I can send them some money for this, I am going to. And I like, that's me too.
Yeah, it's totally fair though. I mean, because the people who did benefit from this immediately spent the money. So I mean,
oh, for sure,
that's definitely the way to go. I'm just honestly, I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised they didn't say, we're gonna pause these accounts, roll them back or whatever, roll these stars back out of their accounts or something, and just refund the money. Because I mean, that's so much ghost money to lose. Like,
well, it is, but they have learned when you take that away from people. Like, so here's the thing: when you roll back accounts, you have to issue refunds, and no company ever wants to issue refunds, especially a mobile gaming company. Like they have a rate of refunds issued, and the closer it gets to a certain amount, like they can get in big trouble with the app stores. It's really, really bad. They want to keep their refund rate as low as absolutely possible.
Okay.
So, like, requiring themselves to do a bunch of refunds, really bad for them. They want to avoid that, but they're like, what you said, like this is absolutely the right way to handle it. I'm not saying that I want it to go any differently. Like, they are absolutely handling it the correct way for everyone involved. It's just like, no wonder they don't learn from their mistakes. They make this mistake, and what they're going to learn from it is, let's try not to screw up and make a windfall of cash again.
Yeah. Oops.
Because like everyone should buy this. Yeah. It was like, what happened with our February numbers? Why are our sales so great in February? Like, oh, he screwed up and put out an offer that was too good, so everyone bought it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't think they'll mind, but
I think they're planning on capitalizing more on these characters, and so I think this may push them to push Cole out of the premium orbs sooner rather than later, because people won't be buying his offers as much, right? Because a lot of people probably already got 5-6 stars, and this may finish him off for a lot of people. So we'll see. I mean, the thing is, Yo-Yo is really the next one to go out of the premium orbs because she was there first. So they got a little bit of a backlog to work through for those premium orb changes. In the future.
Hear that, Skillplay? Mess up a Yo-Yo offer.
Yeah, really. Like, I would love to get Yo-Yo 7 stars, man. Yeah. So they had another offer screw up.
Oh, this one just cracks me up. This is one of those ones where it's like, who is doing this? Who plays this game? Yeah, they they have the offers that come out when any new character releases, where it's like, White Tiger release, like the White Tiger Gold offer and the White Tiger training materials offer. But then they have the White Tiger gear offer, and it's skill gear. Like the offer literally is like, grab this offer and power up your White Tiger today with a bunch of gear that you literally cannot use on White Tiger because she's Mystic. How do you mess that up? I don't know. Her power comes from an amulet. That's pretty Mystic. I was like wondering, like, maybe she could have been skill like early on in the development process. But
I'm sure some guy doing the art was just like, well, she looks like Black Widow. Just copy, like, switch them out the characters. But that's so, oh man, it's so trolly to do to like customers though, like put out the wrong type of gear to buy for a new character that you're excited to build, right? Like the people buying that offer are just like backs to the wall for purple gear apparently, so they have to like have nothing, no gear credits, no purple orbs saved. They're just like, I gotta get this character up, so they buy it, and just like, wait, there's no plus buttons. Where'd they go?
Right. Yeah, how do you even, like, you're gonna have people requesting refunds again. Like, so I bought your offer so I could gear up my White Tiger, and I can't gear up my White Tiger. Why
man, I feel so bad for those people.
What's the fix for this? Just like, well, she's skilled now.
Yeah, and so then there was another screw up with this release. If you bought the White Tiger orbs to unlock her, they didn't appear in the store for some time. I don't know exactly how long it was, but you couldn't open anything. Yeah, it's a good 30 minutes plus, and you couldn't even open her to unlock her. So she was in the Red Star Orbs featured at least, but she was not available in the store even if you bought her offer. So these are just.
I bought a promise of unlocking White Tiger one day. I bought an IOU for White Tiger orbs.
Yes, Scopely IOUs, little post-it note. Send it to your inbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is this. All of this happened, right? You have the orbs not appearing in the store for this character for like a half hour. You have the wrong gear. You have separately a different offer that's got a mistake in it. All this is for a character that they forgot to send out the coming soon mail for, so we didn't even know she was coming today.
Yeah, I was really surprised because they really cut down on the Iceman time in the Red Stars to push him out for her. I honestly didn't expect her tonight, just because I was like, would they really do that? Like, it just seemed kind of silly to me that they would, push him out. I mean, his blitz is still going on, right?
All right, so we will touch on some rumors real quick. There's a bunch of rumors going around about the characters for next patch, so of course we got to talk about them. What seems to be concretely established is that it is going to be Silver Surfer is all but confirmed, and then 2 X Factor members. We're hearing 1 male, 1 female. There's a bunch of theories about who that's going to be. Some people are suggesting Multiple Man and Polaris. I've heard Richter. I've heard Mojo. So we'll see what becomes of the X Factor, but to kind of focus on Silver Surfer, who's been pretty much confirmed. I know a lot of people are really, really excited for Silver Surfer. I know he's a lot of people's favorite Marvel character. So where does he fall for you? Do you care much for Silver Surfer?
I mean, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan, so he's not a huge draw for me. As far as the game's concerned, I do feel like F4 could use a little boost at this point, right? They've kind of been relegated to war defense with She-Hulk, and if you don't have She-Hulk, then they can be a Marauder killer if you throw Ultron on that team. But I'd like to see something that really vaults at least some of the existing team up without requiring new characters on top of Silver Surfer to make them really great. So it is interesting that Silver Surfer is rumored by himself without another character to try to augment that team and make them something else, because we generally don't see this with an existing team that's been out for a long time that people would have pretty well built, that adds just one character, and in this case a legendary, to make them potentially really good. But he could also go on a different team maybe that we don't know about yet.
Wait, why did you say in this case a legendary?
I thought he was going to be a legendary, is he not?
The rumors
I thought that was the rumor.
He will be a milestone character.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's a little different. But even still, it's like, what do you do with that team? So, I mean, you probably already pulled Namor from it, right? I mean, a lot of people have, swapped in She-Hulk there, and they just throw them on defense, and, they're decent defense, but not, like, top tier, right? So what is Silver Surfer going to bring is what I'd like to know. From the Marvel Strike Force perspective, like, is he going to make them an amazing attack team? Is he going to make them an amazing defense team? I don't know.
I have a theory. So we talked about this pretty early on. So first, I do want to push back on your the Fantastic Four, they're not that strong of a team. They don't have a specific member, whatever. I realize that this applies to almost no one currently. But Doctor Doom specifically has Fantastic Four synergy.
He does.
Doctor Doom is the 5th on Fantastic Four. Immediately one of, if not the best team in the game. Yeah, he gets 10% damage and 50% focus as long as any Fantastic Four member is present. And then whenever himself or a Fantastic Four member drops below 50% health, he gives them ability energy and I think 50% or 100% speed bar, something like that. Give them speed bar and ability energies too.
But you don't need the whole team to work with him, right? You just need one. Correct. That's right. And Namor doesn't count, right? So
Namor and She-Hulk don't count.
Yeah, so it has to be. Generally, I see people using Invisible Woman with him, right? So if Silver Surfer,
run Johnny, because his ult will grab Johnny from the offense up, and they'll each get 3 turns. So he'll guarantee Johnny an ult on the spot.
That could be pretty killer. Yeah, if you can keep him alive.
Well, that and when Johnny gets dropped low, he gets the ability energy. So
yeah, that's true.
Also, when people normally try to focus out Johnny, he's super fast. So Doom is like, "Did you just shoot my Johnny? Johnny, go ult them." So
if he survives, he is a little squishy still. So that is the key. Yes, and that's I think I see people running Invisible Woman with him more often, but also the ability energy going to her potentially and getting an extra ult with the barriers and then the offense down on the enemy. I mean, that's pretty killer too, just to kind of slow them down and then keep Doom alive so he can do his ult with a bunch of minions. That's pretty killer. But yeah, if Silver Surfer is just gonna slot in to be like Doom's, partner in crime, and then throw 2 or 3 more characters with them, whatever it is for whatever mode you're doing, like that could be pretty interesting, right? Because Doom is just, he's just a joker at this point. You can put him on any team, and he's gonna do great. He doesn't even have to have an F4 character with him, right?
I agree, but
that would be cool.
So I want to back up. Because the point I was going to make about Fantastic Four is not... I just want to throw that out there. It's like, technically, there's a Fantastic Four team that crushes it. Synergy-wise, that's justified. But the original, template for the Fantastic Four that a lot of us assume... So I went really heavy on Fantastic Four when they introduced them. And I'm with you. Lore-wise, and I'm going to make some enemies for saying this, but lore-wise, I think the Fantastic Four are kind of boring. I know, they're very old characters in the Marvel Universe, but, a stretchy guy, a fire guy... a rock guy, lore-wise, I don't find them that exciting. I'm sorry, Fantastic Four fans. But I invest in them pretty heavily because, in the name of the Fantastic Four, by definition, they're a modular team. They're a core of 4, and that just kind of implied there's going to be a rotating cast of 5th to enable them to do different things. So we all agree.
Right.
You put Namor on that team, pretty good war offense. You put She-Hulk on that team. They're pretty good war defense. So the going theory, and this is purely a guess, we don't know, but given that Silver Surfer has a lot of history of healing and cosmic imbuing of stuff in the comics, the going theory was maybe Silver Surfer's the 5th. Now they're a super solid raid team, and then maybe a Franklin Richards or something for an arena team or something. But the idea of the core 4. And then swapping in the right 5th for the job. I don't doubt that Silver Surfer would elevate them. If Silver Surfer gave them all a health boost and whatever it is, some kind of a crystal passive for the team, and then a passive that just kept generating ability energy for Sue, all of a sudden they're a really good raid team. Yeah,
that could happen. But I guess the question is what lane exactly? What are we trying to replace here? So Axeman really solidified the mutant lane in Doom Raid, right? What we're really missing right now more than anything in Doom Raid is a good skill raid team that's cohesive and makes sense and people actually need to some degree. I've seen people throwing a bunch of mercs and Taskmaster and stuff, and it's just a total crapshoot RNG fest whether or not you make it through that node or those nodes, right? But what are we trying to address here if we're going Doom Raid with Fantastic Four plus a Silver Surfer?
Well, for Doom Raid, it would be another bio team, and obviously we have the symbiotes.
Yeah, so that makes
there's
it a little...
no need for an additional bio team. But what I'm looking at is I know at least one of the Greek raids has Cosmic.
True.
And Cosmic is not too tough currently, but if they were just the Cosmic All-Stars, that's nice. But there's also just the factor of if you look at them as a modular team, and again, it's unfortunate that right now their 5ths pertain to offense or war offense, war defense.
They do.
But the way I look at it is if Silver Surfer is the key to making them a pretty good raid team, and then they add in, I'm just pulling names out of a hat here, but if they just add in Franklin Richards, and by getting just that one character, that's the key to turning them into a pretty good arena team. And then, you add in some other character, and that's the key to making them a pretty good Dark Dimension team or whatever it is. They rather than building up full teams for each game mode, having a team that's well, this team is not necessarily the number one choice, but for much less investment, they're a pretty good runner-up in a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Being the most flexible team, that's kind of where they're at right now. If you look at how they compare to all the teams in the game, they're not a top 5 team, but even just in any game mode, them with She-Hulk, they are people massively underestimate how good they are. And it's because a lot of people didn't build up She-Hulk, but we did a lot of the team testing. They don't mess around. I'm almost positive that they're the number 7 or number 8 team in the game. They're very, very good. Even just as Fantastic Four plus She-Hulk. So if Silver Surfer is even better for them, then they're going to get real crazy real quick. But yeah, that's my prediction is they may not be a must-have team, but as far as a bang for your buck team, they're not too far behind the top choices, and they're considerably more flexible. So.
Yeah, maybe. And they also, aside from whatever new characters come, they would be more attainable than some of the other options in the same lanes. I mean, Symbiote Spider-Man is one of the best characters in the game, and he's still stuck in milestone orbs. Like, it's just, if you're a newer player, how long away are you from unlocking him, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whereas, this potential F4 team could be just simply, a Invisible Woman legendary unlock that you need to get, and then, most of the rest of them are pretty farmable. So that could be interesting.
Which you get Shuri with that too.
Yeah, that's
build
true.
Sinister Six, you get them both.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I want to shout out Rex MSF in the chat for referring to them as I think they're going to be the ideal team for a jack of all trades, master of none. I think they'll do everything pretty well.
Yeah.
Once they're fully realized, without necessarily being the absolute top choice or anything, but very solid.
So you mentioned that maybe with the cosmic raid lanes, and we've seen this in a couple of Greek raids, that they could be the best or second best team, and it could be all stars. But I would say if they can be the auto stars, I always look for teams that can do that, because it's less time I have to spend looking at the screen doing things. If they can just auto a bunch of nodes and be done with most of their raid, that would be awesome. So there is benefit to that in the player conscience of just thinking do I really have to sit there and tap and go and just figure out you gotta target this guy now and you gotta target this guy. I mean, if they are that good, like Iceman for the most part can auto quite a bit, right? To me, those guys are auto stars. They can just get it done and blaze through. That's awesome. So if we're going for something more like that, it's well, that's interesting to build, especially if I already got most of the team built pretty well. It might be worth it. So it'll be interesting to see what comes with that. But of course, this is all rumors. We have no kits. We have no idea where they're actually going to slot in and what they'll work with. But it could be pretty interesting depending on how they want to shake things up.
Yep. Once we hear something, of course, we'll keep you guys posted. All right. So we are going to touch on the dev vlog. Nothing terribly exciting. And if you've been following along, actually, all this news has already been put out there via other sources, but just to give people a quick heads up on what's coming up in this next week. So the White Tiger event campaign is going to be next week called Shadowland. So you'll be able to start that, and you're going to need people with the Infiltrators tag. So if you haven't already started working on characters with the Infiltrators tag, if you're trying to go hard for White Tiger, start working on those characters. Upcoming blitzes. The next blitz is going to be an M'Baku blitz. M'Baku, not terribly important, fairly out of the meta, but M'Baku very good for one thing in particular. As a tank, he is really, really, really good at absorbing burst damage. He will literally eat a Captain Marvel ult to the face and block it and heal off of it. So he's a very good burst damage absorbing tank, but not terribly important. He's in there for Black History Month. After that is going to be the second Bishop Blitz, so definitely the big blitz to look out for, and that's next Thursday. And then they've got some bonus events. They're going to have a double drop for Luke Cage, which is not terribly important because he's literally in the Blitz store. There's also going to be a double drop for Okoye next week. And again, the Wakandan team just very, very out of the meta right now. Okoye, not terribly important, not really good for anything other than making Wakanda a team. And then there's going to be a For Asgard event. And this time in particular, because they moved up the Black Bolt event, they are doing a double drop, or no, sorry, this is the calendar. So the double drop is going to be unchanged. The calendar is going to be 10 shards instead of 5 on each character. But yeah, it's going to be a double drop for the Asgardians that have campaign nodes for the Black Bolt event coming up. And that's everything coming up in the next week, according to the dev blog.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is just Chaos Theory Flash event does require Wakandans. That's so if you're close to leveling them up, I mean, that is by far the most important Flash event that happens. So getting those promo credits. I'm glad
you said something.
That is the only thing I can think of that's even relevant to all that information, because otherwise it's all just, this is unfortunately just a very weak dev vlog for this week. But it happens, there's not always like huge stuff for them to do. I mean, I think we've covered a lot of interesting topics today. A lot of things that we've kind of discussed in more detail than what was on the surface, so that's really good. But for the devlog, just it's not a whole lot there.
But all right, so there you have it. That wraps up episode 2 of our yet unnamed news series. So yet again, if you have any comments whatsoever, we are trying to shape this show into exactly the news program that you guys want. So if you have any feedback regarding things we should do differently, a different way to edit it, or anything like that, please leave those suggestions in the comments below. And we are still trying to pick from the best suggestions for the title of this show. So you can also leave any suggestions you have for the name of it in the comments below. And yeah, we'll settle on a name pretty soon. Maybe we'll do a poll for you guys on the YouTube channel. But other than that, I think that is all we've got for you this week. Did you want to have any closing statements?
Always drink responsibly, my friends.
And on that note, we will see you guys next week. So until then. Peace.